Hello and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. Let's get into the video. The video I'm about to share is a must watch because everyone is talking about it on TikTok. It's about a letter that was written by Osama bin Laden. Now we all know that this man was known for engineering a series of attacks in multiple countries that unalived thousands of men, women, children and often ordinary citizens just going about their daily lives after founding a terror organization. In particular, he opposed the US military presence in Saudi Arabia and Somalia and sought to drive the nation's personnel out of these areas by force. Now in this video, I want us to look at a letter he wrote to America. Everyone is shocked to find out these things about America, what is happening. People are just relating it to what is happening and they are beginning to think America is not what they thought it was. I have collected a few clips for you guys just to watch and for you to connect the dots. People shared their thoughts, some are disappointed. So it's a lot, guys. So let's check the videos out, and when I get back, we talk more about this issue.
Go read Osama bin Laden's letter to America. It's been the hot topic for the last 12 to 24 hours on TikTok, and I just read it myself. And it adds so much perspective. And I need to tell you something, though. When you Google a letter to America, the first option that'll pop up will be The Guardian. But they took it down. And when did they take it down? Oh, November 15th, 2023. They took it down today. I wonder why. However, you can click the second option here, Director of National Intelligence.gov, the DNI.gov. It's there, and you can read it. So there you go. And the only other thing I want to add is, regardless of whatever you take away from reading this letter, I really hope it does not. I don't want you to blame all Jews or Christians for anything, okay? I think there's a lot of truth to what was written in this letter, but we're not supposed to fill our hearts with hate for anybody.
So I just read a letter to America, and I will never look at life the same. I will never look at this country the same. Please read it. And if you have read it, let me know if you are also going through an existential crisis in this very moment. Because in the last 20 minutes, my entire viewpoint on the entire life I have believed and I have lived has changed. Please read that entire letter.
First thing I did was go and read it. And I encourage you to read it. It is a very interesting read. It is thought out and diligent, and truly is a read, because he kind of read us to filth, completely hit the nail on the head. And it's just, thank God this app exists. Thank God resources exist, because I was 7 years old when the letter came out. I grew up in rural, conservative, red state of America, prime bush country, evangelical Christian. And thank God today I read that letter.
You know, oftentimes I really do get shocked on this app when people wake up to certain things about this country and this government. And I'm really glad that this letter to America written by Osama bin Laden is so spot on, so clear and concise. Like it's such an easy read, and it's so comprehensible that like even the dumbest person can kind of like get it. But that letter reveals nothing more than how much the American citizens are really dumbed down to everything that's going on outside of the world. Like, we thought that white culture was the bubble, and like we are trying to pop that bubble, not realizing that the American society also keeps us in a bubble, and like there are people that are existing outside of the way of our way of living, and they have their opinions and experiences too, being on the other end of the spectrum. So, you know, but when you follow these conspiracy theorists and read books by David Icke and been just like, you know what I mean, like just going down a rabbit hole, stuff like this is not a surprise anymore. Like, it's not a surprise. Like, this government has worked really hard and has been very successful at persuading the masses, distracting the masses, and then also silencing the masses as well. And the way that Osama, oh my God, the way that Osama bin Laden read the American people and really was just like, no shade, but y'all bitches are at fault too because y'all taxing. It's just like, you can't even get mad at the nigga. Like, you can't even get mad at him. Like, no shade. Like, I don't agree with a lot of his, religious extremist type of, like, ideals that was written in that letter. But everything outside of that, like, no tea, no shade. Like, he ate that up. Like, he ate that the fuck up. Like, he ate that up because, yes, and there's people in this country that has been talking about this for mad long and been saying this for mad long, but nobody want to believe them.
I've been seeing a bunch of people reading Bin Laden's letter to America for the first time, and they're feeling like shocked and grossed out that it's as reasonable as it is in comparison to what they were expecting. And I'm seeing a bunch of people in their comments being like, did you forget the violence? Did you skip over all the religious extremism? Did you miss that part? Did you forget what he did? And to those people, to anyone who would have that reaction, to seeing that reaction to Bin Laden's letter to America, how do you respond to people who support the US military? When you see somebody supporting the US military, openly showing support for the US military, are you vastly more disgusted with them? You ask them if they just haven't noticed all the religious extremism? Do you ask them if they've forgotten about all of the violence? Are you proportionately disgusted? Because you should be vastly more disgusted. If not, why isn't your reaction proportionate?
This morning I read Letter to America, which is Osama bin Laden's letter to America explaining why he attacked Americans. And I am ashamed to say that I not only have never read this letter, but I didn't even know this letter existed. And granted, this was published in 2002. And so unless you were news savvy and read articles on the internet and whatnot, I highly doubt you knew this letter existed. And I was 21. I was dealing with white girl American problems, boyfriend problems, and drinking and partying and going to school and working and trying to survive and do all that. But yeah, I don't think that the majority of Americans have read this letter. But I do believe that the majority of Americans have heard and watched documentaries and been very interested in the conspiracy theories surrounding 9/11, because I know that my generation, we were all about the conspiracy of 9/11. We were watching burned CDs of Zeitgeist, and we were talking about that together at work and at parties. We were not talking about this letter. It's wild, and everyone should read it. If you haven't read it yet, read it. However, be forewarned that this has left me very disillusioned, and I feel the same exact way I felt when I was deconstructing Christianity. I feel a little bit just confused, like I have entered into another timeline. What is this? And yeah, so go read it.
Now, I'm going to just read some parts of what Osama bin Laden said in this letter. Given the context of this letter, I did think that it was important to read to you parts of it. Now, for those that want to read the whole letter, they can find it on theguardian.com. I know I'm going to pronounce some of these words wrongly. My sincere apologies for that. But it reads, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, permission to fight against disbelievers is given to those disbelievers who are fought against because they have been wronged, and shortly Allah is able to give them believers victory." Some American writers have published articles under the title "On What Basis Are We Fighting?" These articles have generated a number of responses, some of which have not adhered to the truth and were based on Islamic law, and others, while have not here, we wanted to outline the truth as an explanation and warning, hoping for Allah's reward, seeking success and support from Him. Why are we fighting and opposing you? As to the first question, we are fighting and opposing you. The answer is very simple: because you attack and you continue to attack us. You attack us in Palestine, which has sunk under military occupation for more than 80 years. The British handed over Palestine with your help and your support to the Jews, who have occupied it for more than 50 years, overflowing with oppression, tyranny, unaliving expulsion, crimes, destruction, and devastation. The creation and continuations of Israel is one of the greatest crimes, and you are the leaders of its criminals. And of course, there's no need to explain, improve the degree of American support for Israel. The creation of Israel is a crime which must be erased. Each and every person whose hands have become polluted in the contribution towards this crime must pay its price, and pay for it heavily. This letter is incredibly long, and this is just like one paragraph in which he discusses the American complicity in Israel. Now, I highly recommend that you go and read this later, because they are right. Your perspective will change even more. Before I conclude, let me share some comments from people. This one says, wait till you see Gaddafi's letter to America. It's even crazier. People are missing the point. No one is defending bin Laden or even agreeing with him. The point is that the reasons we were told 9/11 happened were not the truth. There is actually two different letters. This one was released quite a while later, but there is one he sent out right after 9/11 that goes into much detail. It's actually mind-boggling how other Americans are trying to bully me into not holding America accountable for lying to us. You are the problem. The 8-page letter is more detailed. Okay, so this was written in 2002, yet it mentions Obama. Something suspicious about this. This is a realistic message that the Western and American community must rise up against its government, which supports Israel before it's too late. The last comment reads, the point of that letter is not to justify what bin Laden did, but the actual reasons behind his actions is very eye-opening. Now, as I was carrying out a research, I've just found out that The Guardian has deleted the transcript from its website, citing discussions without the full context online. The letter, initially published by the outlet 20 years ago, addressed Americans and discussed the 9/11 attack. The webpage now informs visitors that the document containing the full text of the letter was removed due to widespread sharing without full context. The Guardian spokesperson stated that the 21-year-old transcript was taken down due to widespread sharing on social media without proper context, redirecting readers to the original contextualizing news article. Now, TikTok user Lynette Atkins, in a video shared on Tuesday, called on viewers to read Osama bin Laden's A Letter to America. Her video has now been removed. Atkins expressed her own sense of an existential crisis after reading the letter and wanted to hear other people's thoughts. Many TikTokers found the letter eye-opening and mind-blowing. Some felt delusioned and confused, and even said that they were unaware of its existence. Now, this letter, the letter to the American people penned by Osama bin Laden, is unavailable on Reddit now, while TikTok users are taking it upon themselves to educate others about its contents. Okay, we have come to the end of the video. Kindly share what you think about this video. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video as I bring you another interesting video.